Okay. All right. So Miss Goyette's going to start. She's got a couple quizzes to give you. She'll go over notes. She's going to talk about the journal with you. I expect you to be respectful of her too.
Thank you. All right. Can I have a volunteer to read the objective today, please? Go ahead, Ted.
Students will demonstrate an understanding of the need the U.S. had for a stronger central government.
Good, thank you. Students will demonstrate an understanding of the need the United States had for a stronger central government. We're going to talk about that in our notes. We created our new constitution, or the one we have now. Review. What are 2 things you now know about Henry Clay you didn't know prior to his visit? So what are some things you learned when you saw Henry Clay in the theater? Yeah.
He tried running for president 3 times.
Right. Henry Clay tried running for president 3 times. He was a very popular guy. A lot of people liked him, but he was failed 3 different times. Anything else? Yeah?
I didn't know he was white.
You didn't know Henry Clay was white?
No.
You visited his home. Was that before?
I was a slave.
Oh,
You
before.
slave. Oh, before, yeah. Okay.
You know me.
Well, that's legitimate. You didn't know he was white. All right. Anything else that you learned in the theater, Johan?
His dad, like when his dad died, soldiers came to his house and robbed him.
Right. Yeah, that was a real thing back when he was younger. Anything else? Okay. What do you believe was one goal of the framers of the Constitution that we have not realized yet? So what is something that you think the framers wanted for the future of this country that we just haven't done yet? Anything? I can stand here until I get an answer. What did you guys
Make America better.
Okay, make America better how? What is it that we're not doing that would make America better?
Equal rights, equality.
Okay, so equality for everyone, good. Anything else you guys came up with?
Great economy. I can't say the word. Economy.
What's wrong with our economy now?
It keeps going up and down, and then we keep owing more debts and debts and debts. Then we try paying it back, and when that happens, we have to borrow more debts. So much it's a debt hole.
Okay, so our framers were wanting us to be more efficient with our money. Okay, good. Did anyone have anything else? All right. And then what is one connected activity we're going to do in class today?
The rest of the day.
Pre-quiz.
Pre-quiz. We're going to take notes. All right.
Yay.
Did you get the power button? Carlos, you can do it. Yeah. All right, I'm passing out 2 different actually, can I volunteer to help me pass out? Okay, Johan. You want to help me pass out the other one? All right, okay.
So quick thing. You have to get twice.
All right, we've got, you hit twice. There you go. Make sure everyone gets 1 of each. So we've got 2 pre-quizzes today. What is the good thing about pre-quizzes?
It's not extra grade.
Yeah, it's extra credit.
Okay.
So try your best on them.
Just circle all.
Hey guys, we have quizzes out now. So there should not be any talking. No talking, please. There are quizzes out. Thank you. break.
You write on this one.
Yeah, you're writing on both of them. Make sure you write your name on the top of your paper, or both papers, and then when you're finished, just flip it over. It's just a pre-quiz, so whatever ones you get right.
For what you think right now.
You do both of them. Yeah, guys, if you don't know one, feel free to leave it blank. It doesn't hurt you. Just a second. When you guys are finished, like everyone at your table is finished, put them in one pile and I'll come around and collect them. I know, that's I might do that. I have a second placement. I'm gonna go to the second placement. I'll be there.
That's fair. We need pictures.
But I'll visit. I'll come visit.
I don't have to really mind.
Do you have the other one?
Oh,
Wait,
yeah.
you're walking the other one.
I'm just saying. What day is it? Saturday? I'll take it. Is it Saturday? Oh, yeah, I'm gonna go to the couch. Are you gonna go?
Guys, you still got classmates working on a quiz, so there should be no talking. If you don't know any of them, it's fine. It's just not extra credit.
You should watch it too.
If you do it right, it's extra credit. 30 more seconds and I'm gonna collect them when everyone's like still out. Alright, do you need those? Thank you. Alright. We're gonna go over it real fast. And just a reminder, don't be upset if you didn't know anything or you didn't know what to put, because like I said earlier, these are extra credit if you get it correct. Alright. So, the form of government in which power is divided between the national government and the state is called what? What did you guys put for that one? Federalism, thank you. What refers to powers given to state governments but not to the national government?
Separation of powers.
Separation of powers. No, reserved powers.
Yo.
The first 10 amendments, guys. The first 10 amendments to the Constitution are known as what?
Bill of Rights.
Good. Alright, what of the following is not a right protected by the First Amendment? Travel.
Wow.
So why is that in your ear? Put that away. Put it away from you, please. Completely, I don't wanna see it.
I know, I forgot.
Alright,
Thank you. You can't listen to it if it's not there, okay?
which amendment protects Americans against unreasonable search and seizures?
13.
No,
Fourth.
Fourth Amendment. Good.
Oh. Yeah, we got one.
Alright,
I got like 2 out of 5.
Alright, what is the highest law of the land in the United States?
6.
I don't know. But I was thinking, guys.
Huh?
Is it, nobody?
I said 9.
No. What document have we talked about? The Constitution.
Word.
The Constitution is the highest law of the land in the United States. It is what gives us our structure, our governmental structure.
I'm mad.
What is one compromise found in the Constitution?
What you said?
I heard the Great Compromise. Yeah, that's one.
What's that section for?
There's several. The Constitution is known as a bundle of compromises. There's tons of them. Huh?
What's that section for?
No, the Missouri Compromise is not in the Constitution, so that's good. Henry Clay did help with the Missouri Compromise.
Nice.
But yeah, we're going to talk about some more compromises when we're talking about the notes, because like I said, there was a ton in there. And who
What was the right answer?
presenting? You didn't get that?
No.
Who's Henry Clay? What?
What did the Cowboys have to do with this?
Cowboys? Oh, at the
They hang you or they
at the field trip? Okay, so you guys, you had a classmate got a question, so I'm gonna answer it. You guys need to pay attention. So the reason that they had cowboys and well, they weren't actually cowboys. They were what is known as cavalry. So back in the cavalry. So back in the Civil War, they had a special soldier unit that fought on horseback, and that was known as cavalry, and that's why they had that. But going back to the pre-quiz, who was the president of the Constitutional Convention? George Washington. Good. Good job, guys. All right, number 4.
I just say.
Number 4. How many articles are there in the Constitution?
I was gonna say.
7. Okay. All right, we got one more. One more, guys. What Constitution in order to ratify it? What did you guys put?
Was it like
Bill,
Yeah, Bill of Rights.
I didn't even put that down.
Yeah, well, that's what it was. It's Bill of Rights. Good job. How do you guys feel about the quiz?
Terrible.
Ooh, raise your hand if you got at least one right. Raise your hand if you got at least two right.
I think I got two. I don't remember.
On that paper, I got.
Sight. Wait,
Okay.
probably.
Good job, guys.
Greeny job.
All right. So can I have another volunteer to pass out papers?
I'll do it.
Dean, your hand was up first.
Yeah, mine.
We're gonna be doing notes. So Dean, guys, Dean's gonna be passing out the notes for today, and then I have some special directions before we get started. Once I get this pulled up. Carlos, could you please do the power
Oh, that was a bad day.
Oh my god.
I'm sorry, I said that. At least it was.
We've got about 10 minutes. Hey guys, I've got some instructions I need you to listen to, so I need all eyes and ears up here. Okay, so we're going to do something a little different with notes today. In the past, I have asked you guys to talk as a table, and I'll time you, and we'll bring back whatever discussion we got. Do you guys remember doing that?
No.
Done that before? Yes. Okay, well, what I'm going to do today is there are questions built into this PowerPoint. When I say we're going to talk as a table for 30 seconds, then bring back whatever your table talked about, we're going to be doing participation points. So every group is required to say and add at least one thing to today's discussion. Does that make sense?
What if someone says the exact same thing that the other one?
Well, then you can say, we agree with that table.
Oh.
Da, 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 da. There's several opportunities for you guys to add discussion. So, does that make sense? Can I have someone repeat the directions for me? Yes.
When a question comes up on the PowerPoint, we talk as a table and to get participation points for the day you have to add.
Thank you. And I will be timing you guys for how much you have to talk. It'll be about 30 seconds, so that means you need to stay on task with what you're talking about. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Can I see some head nods, please?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. All right, let's get started.
Let me see.
Highlight the words you need to fill. Well, then you have to read it.
What's your?
I don't read that.
When you have finished copying the notes, just set your pencils down so that we know it's time to move on.
Let's see it. See where they're at. Oh, they have to come in.
It was right here.
Oh, Jose, it's right up there, I'm sorry. Sorry.
Okay, we're gonna go ahead and get started with this slide. So do you guys remember the last set of notes? It was the last set of notes we did before the test. We talked about the weaknesses of the Articles of Confederation. Do you guys remember that?
Yeah.
What were some of the weaknesses of the Articles of Confederation? Yes.
Again, like collect taxes.
Couldn't collect taxes. Regulate trade, yes. What else?
Congress couldn't pass laws without at least 9 of the states agreeing.
Right. The Articles of Confederation generally was just not a good document for us. It didn't have a strong central government. What was the name of the rebellion that sort of resulted in all of that?
Shays Rebellion.
Shays Rebellion, thank you. That sort of was, if you remember, the point where we were just like, you know what, we need a new constitution. And so by 1778, it was clear that the articles were failing and the country needed changes. Each state was asked to send delegates to a convention to propose changes, except for one state. One state did not want to create a new constitution. Does anyone know what state that was? Rhode Island. Little old Rhode Island didn't want to give a strong central government. Scholars, is there an issue?
IRS.
Your paper cut? Well, I will take that. Thank you. All right. The convention began on May 25th of 1787 in Philadelphia in Independence Hall. They chose this location because that's where they came up with the Declaration of Independence. That's where they came up with the Articles of Confederation. So it was just an appropriate setting. 55 delegates were all well-educated leaders with considerable experience, and a variety of fields were there. But who wasn't represented? Talk about it in your groups. You got 30 seconds. Who do you think was not represented in part of these 55 men? Yeah, 55 delegates. What type of people?
Rhode Island.
Yeah, it was like.
What type of people were not represented in these delegates?
I know.
Talk about it.
Indians, black
Just say.
All right. What you guys come up with? I saw this hand first. Yes. Okay, yeah, slaves and women. They were not represented. So then who was it?
It was just white.
White male landowners. Thank you.
You're welcome.
You have participation white. All right. Anyone else have anything to add? Yeah? I'm sorry? Yeah, good. There were no Native Americans represented. Good. Did you have something else?
Nice.
Poor people? Yeah, people who didn't have land. Good. Good job, guys. Okay. And with that said, Benjamin Franklin was the oldest delegate, and George Washington was selected to lead the convention. Good job. So, if George Washington was leading the convention, how do you guys think they thought about George Washington? What was their opinion? He was a strong leader. What else?
Hero.
He was a war hero. Good. George Washington was he was pivotal in the War of Independence, and so everyone really looked up to him. He was a strong leader. He understood more than anyone probably what would happen if we did not create a successful, strong federal government. We'd just end up being a colony again. Someone could come in and take over. When you're finished, just set your pencil down so that we know it's time to move on. Thank you. All right. So, like I said at the end of the last slide, George Washington was a strong leader, and it didn't take long for them to think, oh, well, he needs to be the president of the United States. So, Washington really set a tone about what failure would mean for this new small country. It would mean that we would just get taken over again by someone. It didn't necessarily have to be the British, and we had no way of kind of protecting ourselves from that. So decisions were to be made by a majority vote of the states, with each state having one vote. So, like Virginia had nine people there, 9 delegates. They had to come up with a vote within the 9 delegates, and then come up with whatever that majority was to send to the main vote. All conversations were to be kept secret. Why do you think that was? Why was all the information within the convention kept secret? What do you think?
Because people were like it was fine.
Maybe, yeah. I want you guys to talk about this with your groups, and I want to hear what you have to say. Why do you think that they were keeping the information in the Constitutional Congress secret? Or the convention, I'm sorry. Talk about it in your groups. Get started.
Damn. It's British was fine. They don't want to make them like
All right. What did you guys come up with? Yes.
It would be good.
Hold on, guys. We have a student that's talking. You need to give her your attention. Go ahead.
It would be good because all like the people that are trying to have ideas from it couldn't go start their own thing.
Not bad. Kind of, yeah.
It would create chaos if the people outside of the Constitution found out.
How would it create chaos?
The people would be like, if they found out something they didn't agree with or didn't want to happen,
Yeah,
they would be
like
upset about something.
Okay, and then so what would the outside opinions have on the people inside the convention?
As another country.
No, as in the delegates. How would that influence the delegates?
They would start changing stuff.
Good. Good. So you guys you got to the point that I was trying to make. So they kept everything inside of it secret because they didn't want the outside opinion to affect whatever the outcome was going to be. They wanted to hammer it out and then show it to the public. You have something else to add? Yes, go ahead.
They didn't want. They didn't want nobody to know what was going on.
Right, okay, exactly. Go ahead.
In case they didn't finalize an idea and it got out, so that they wouldn't surprise everyone, they changed it.
Right. You guys are all there. They didn't want some sort of outside opinion of whatever they were doing to influence the delegates so that they would have to change stuff and have more discussion. And they just wanted to get it done. Good job, guys. The delegates quickly agreed to discard the articles and write a new constitution. And the meeting house became known as the Constitutional Convention. When you're finished, just put your pencils down so that I know it's time to continue. All right. So while this constitutional convention was going on, James Madison proposed the Virginia Plan, which he wanted 3 branches of government, which is what we have now, a legislative branch with 2 houses, an executive branch, and a judicial branch. But the states would be represented by their population. The large states really like this. But why was that? Talk about it in your group. You got it. 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Alright, what do you guys come up with? I need something from group 2. This back middle, I haven't heard anything from you guys, or whole from you guys. What do you guys have?
Okay. Maybe because there are more people in the larger states, so they can represent.
Okay, well you're right. There would be more people in the larger states, so we're gonna have more representation. But what does that mean? Yeah, go ahead. They'll get more votes. Good. So the larger states wanted this because then they can have more votes, and the rules will kind of sway their way. William Patterson, though, on the other hand, proposed the New Jersey Plan, which called for 3 branches of government, just like the Virginia Plan, but only had a 1-house legislature in which each state got 1 vote. Why do you think the small states like that? Think about it. Talk about it at your tables.
More fair.
More fair than
Not really. So
That's why.
I mean,
Alright.
even Lexington are only good places.
What'd you come up with?
Other than that.
Yes, ladies.
They would get equal say as the larger states, even though they have like
Okay, so they would get an equal say with the larger states. But, okay, so do you think that's fair though? Do you think either of these plans are fair?
No.
No. Good. So, in true constitutional spirit, they came up with a compromise.
Oh, right.
What you do?
When you finish, just put your pencils down.
What you do?
There's a lot of talking going on. Does that mean we finished the notes and we're ready to talk about it? Yes? Okay. So compromise. Roger Sherman of Connecticut helped create a compromise between the two clans. That is known as the Great Compromise, which someone said earlier when we were talking this pre-quiz. One house of the legislature would be based on population. The other, one house of the legislature based on population. The other would have equal representation. So we have that today, which is which? Which one of those is based on the House of Legislature based on population? Sorry, that didn't make sense. The what? Okay, what's that called today? No. What in government that we have is that called? So we got House of Representatives and Senate. Which is that? Am I confusing you guys?
Yeah.
Okay, let me
Legislative.
rephrase. So, which one of those two options do we know today is Senate? The Senate. The second one, actually. Senate, there are 100 members of Senate, so each state has equal representation. They have 2 members. The other one is one House of Legislature based on population, and that is the House of Representatives. So southern states wanted to count slaves as part of their population. Why do you think that is?
Because they're living in.
Talk about it at your table.
They're living in America.
It's more than just well, they would have one. Why did they want to have one?
I'd rather live.
They wouldn't have one.
I don't know, when I get older, I'm back.
Oh, yeah, my dad says that, well, that my dad made this year, and then she's
Alright guys, what you come up with? I still need to hear one more thing at least from group 1 back there, group 2, and group 5. Yes.
They wanted more people so that whenever they got more, they had more.
Okay. They wanted more representation because down south, what was a large
Slavery.
part of the population? Slaves, but who had slaves?
White
Landowners who did what? What was their occupation?
farming.
Farming. So you had farmers, and there weren't as big cities that had larger populations, so they had to make up for that deficit in population somehow. And what way was that?
Wait,
To count their slaves. So Roger Sherman came up with the Fifth Third Compromise, in which every 5 slaves would count as 3 people for representation in tax figures. The South agreed that Congress could regulate trade, but they could not tax exports or stop importation of slaves until 1808. Electoral college people.
Go back to the electoral college,
Okay.
if you will.
Got it. Hold on.
Sorry. Okay, so guys, the 3/5 compromise is, I wanna just stress thank you. Thank you. Okay, the 3/5 compromise is crazy, right? We're counting people as 3/5 of a human being, but it was again, one of those compromises, you had to give. You had to give up something you wanted in order to keep people there. Because if the South had walked out, we wouldn't have a country. So they did it. They gave in. The North gave in and they agreed to it. That's how you get the 3/5 compromise. That's one of the compromises. You've got the Great Compromise, the legislative compromise to create the Congress we have. You've got the 3/5 compromise, but you also have a lot of other compromises that are important to talk about. One of them is the South agreed, listen, the South agreed that Congress, this is their compromise back. We'll give you 3/5, but you're going to agree that Congress regulates trade. Okay? The South said, we'll give you that, but you can't listen. You can't tax exports. Which means that if I make something in North Carolina and I ship it to Japan, my North Carolina company doesn't pay taxes. Okay? So that's why it's good for us to this day to do business in other countries. So that is an example of something that's happening, that has happened way back when, that affects us still today. To this day, any American company that sells something overseas doesn't get taxed on their export, whatever item they're sending out. The other thing that they gave on was, they said, okay, but you're gonna have to let us import slaves until 1808. And then finally,